Early's an excellent receiver, but when it comes to kickoffs and punt returns, he doesn't seem to have the same ability as he does as a wide receiver. Should have known that his foot was on the end line there and let the ball go out of bounds and have El Camino re-kick.
Mark, it's a different, definitely a different situation. You have 11 people rushing down on you, foaming at the mouth to hit you, and it's a little bit of a different situation.
So far, the 2 touchdown scores in this game have both been via the pass. For the Oceanside Pirates, 61-yard touchdown score from Portugal to Sutton, extra point good. And then for El Camino, a 34-yard touchdown pass from Creighton to Unatoa, the extra point block, 7-6 Oceanside. Portugal gives the ball off right side to Hamer, a little bit of running room. There's a fumble, loose ball, and who's got it out of that big pile? Got to figure the Oceanside Pirates do, because El Camino's not going crazy. Man, there were about 8 people who went after the ball. We'll take a look at replay here, Carl. Let's see if we can see who comes up with it. Portugal calls the signals, dishes off to Hamer, some running room. Moore and company caused the fumble, but it appeared one of the offensive linemen recovers for the Oceanside Pirates. So it's actually a pickup of 8, setting up 2nd and 2. Portugal, he's in trouble, now gives off left side to Sutton. He's in more trouble, and Ronald Robinson collars him at the 25-yard line, and then Bryant Westbrook just lays a hit on Sutton. I'm surprised he's getting up.
Mark, he ran 40 yards across the field and maybe got back to line of scrimmage. I don't know here. It's pretty close to a first down, but that El Camino defense is, they're tough.
It's actually still going to be 3rd and 2, so they actually did get back to the line of scrimmage. So Portugal had the wherewithal to give it to Sutton, and he got back to the line of scrimmage, even though he sure earned it the hard way, taking a big-time hit. 3rd down, they rule it about 1 yard to go. Everybody up on the line of scrimmage. There's the quarterback. Portugal gives to the up man. Oh, he's stuffed. I don't think he got it. What a job by number 54, Buddy Brown, 43, Natola and company. And I think that Hamer got stuffed up, Carl.
Hamer got hammered at the line of scrimmage for no yardage.
Say that 10 times fast. Hamer got hammered.
I think
it was Buddy Brown, Prescott Unatoa, and Natola, James Natola, who all came in on the tackle. And it's going to bring up 4th down and probably about a half yard. They're going to measure here. I don't think he got it. It's just a matter of how close the Oceanside Pirates are.
Mark, this is going to be close, close here.
And let's zero in as they take the measurement.
I don't think he made it, but it's very close.
There's the look. And it
3
is
inches.
just barely. It's got to be about a 1/10 of the length of a football. And
Mark,
you've got to wonder, what's John Carroll going to do with 1:22 to go? I know it's a gamble, but 4th, and I mean, you're talking inches here.
Mark, it's 3.5 inches. I'd go for it. Wouldn't you?
Carl Wickham saying, Carl, you're making the easy calls up here in the broadcast booth. And the El Camino Wildcats call timeout defensively to talk things over. Unbelievable what a difference a year makes. You know, last year you looked at El Camino defense, which registered 5 shutouts, gave up just 103 points in 14 games. Have you ever seen a defense like El Camino had last year?
They're something else, Mark. I just, probably one of the best defenses has been in North County. Well, in the last probably 35 years since I've been watching football.
You know, you think about last year's team, of course, the star was Abdul McCullough now at UCLA, but they had some other good guys. Hey, at linebacker, Daniel Esposito, a steady little guy who was also their fullback, and he's at Baker College. You have Elias Noah, who's playing junior college football, Mike G., who's at Ventura Junior College, Noel Prefontaine at Cal State Fullerton. So a lot of big-time football players last year for the Wildcats. And I'm sure Herb Meyer's hoping he had a few more of those players on this year's squad. 4th down, about a half yard to go. They're in punt formation. John Carroll's not going to take any chances here as he's taking on his crosstown rival El Camino. Ballou in punt formation. It's a short one. It's a very short kick. But it does take an Oceanside roll and stops at the 48 Now closer to midfield, where El Camino will start 1st and 10. That was a wobbly duck, and Forrest Ballou had all kinds of luck with that ball rolling his way.
You know, Mark, I worked with that kid about 15 minutes last week trying to get his toe down, and he just still doesn't have it. You think he's coachable?
I don't know. You tell me. You're the one who was trying to coach him. El Camino starts 1st and 10, a minute 10 remaining in the first half. They're in the hurry-up offense. Creighton back to pass, under pressure from Salavea, now has time, throws, completes to Westbrook. And he's tackled at the 43, didn't get out of bounds like he should have. Billy Gully makes the tackle, number 45, along with number 80, Kenny Chandler.
Oceanside is they'll probably give up the short pass. They're not letting them get deep on them. They're going to make sure that they don't get deep on them.
They pick up 6 yards, 2nd and 4. Creighton looking to pass out of the backfield. It's incomplete. He was looking for Mike Flanagan. Incomplete, going to bring up 3rd down. You know, Mike Flanagan, who is a very good tailback for this team, he sprained his ankle towards the end of the first quarter in that loss against Torrey Pines, and they really missed his offensive output in that contest. Flanagan's had some good games where he's rushed for over 100 yards. He's pretty steady. Creighton looks to pass to Westbrook. Incomplete. Missed timing pattern there. Good coverage by the Oceanside Pirates. That's going to bring up 4th down.
There's an example where Creighton could have lofted that ball over the top, and I think he threw behind him that time, and it wasn't a well-thrown football on that particular pattern.
We've got timeout call by Oceanside as the clock stops. 32 seconds left in a familiar tone for El Camino tonight. 4th down, 5 yards to go. Carl, you know, as they go into close to the locker room, El Camino has had excellent field position as they've started off on a lot of their offensive sets, and Herb Myers just has to be beside himself that the team's only scored 1 touchdown.
That's right, Mark. I still think Oceanside should have ran the ball with a yard to go. That's my opinion, but Carroll elected to kick. He probably would still have the football.
Who are the men on the sidelines for El Camino? Herb Meyer, the head coach. Bill Porter, the kicking coordinator. Head assistant football coach and defensive coordinator is Bill Kovakovic. Rick Orlando in charge of the linebackers. Ted Tilden, the offensive line. Joe Meyer, the quarterbacks. John Guy, the defensive backs. Anthony Powpow, the running backs. Ken Elderts, tight end and offensive line. We'll tell you about the Oceanside Pirates coaches in just a moment. 4th and 5 in punt formation is Trey Creighton standing at his own 46-yard line. He's got plenty of time, gets the punt up in the air. It's certainly a wobbler, and it goes down about close to the 10-yard line, where the Pirates will start 1st and 10. 22 seconds remaining to play in this first half. The Oceanside coaching staff, their head coach John Carroll and his 4th year Dave Barrett, defensive back coach, also the head JV coach. Chuck Gallo, their offensive coordinator. He has 11 years of head coaching experience at Laguna Hills, Servite, and Mater Dei, and for a year he coached Todd Marinovich. Edwin Campbell, defensive line. Monty Burlodick, inside slots. Eric Van Tassel, wide receivers. Rick Gerard, offensive line. Jim Gray, fullbacks, and John Glenn, the linebackers. 15 seconds and ticking to go. I don't even know if Oceanside will bother to get off a play at the end of this first half. Carl, what sticks out in your mind in this first half of play?
Definitely a defensive battle by both El Camino and Oceanside. It's been a very good football game so far, and I thought maybe El Camino would pull ahead in the second quarter, but I think this may end up by being very close in the fourth quarter. Could be a real good, close football game tonight.
Well, Carl, we've reached halftime with the score. The Oceanside Pirates 7, the El Camino Wildcats 6. Coming up at halftime, an interview with former NFL star Bill Sanifer, a graduate of Oceanside High School. We hope you enjoy the halftime festivities here on the High School Football Game of the Week.
Hey, Laura, the middle thing's going to be on the who won the last 2 times in the practice lap? Who said I cannot win? Tell me, who was that?
And who only runs at a quarter of speed? And who lets you win?
Who said that they were going to
Okay,
win both
then.
times? Who was that?
I will kill you. And I will come out there on the field and personally kill you in front of all these people. All right?
Now we're going to drop it.
It'll be worth it. Tell her. No doubt about it. guys. Get ready.
I'm gonna laugh. I just care. No, because if it's me,
I'm not gonna laugh.
I have to tell myself.
You're not gonna laugh.
Sorry.
We're gonna put our lights here. Don't rush.
Jennifer.
Don't rush. Don't rush. That's how everything.
announce is the girl with the plumes in her box is the new homecoming queen for 1992. Okay, girls, open your boxes. The new homecoming queen is Kansas 2. Congratulations also goes out to the homecoming king, Jeff Empson. We would like to extend a thanks to all the alumni here tonight and to all the people who helped with Homecoming 1992. Also to Night and Day Formal Wear for donating Texas for the guys on homecoming court. Hope you all enjoyed the halftime show and the rest of the game. Have a good night.
Wait a second. All right, let's go.
We're at halftime, and this mammoth of a man to my left is Bill Sandifer. Tell you a little bit about Bill. Oceanside High School graduate, played football at UCLA, and then played in the National Football League with the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks in the 1970s. Bill, first of all, thanks for joining us here at halftime. As you look back at your days of high school football at Oceanside High School, what stood out during your playing days for Herb Meyer?
I think now, just being out here tonight, it brings back a lot of the feelings of just the smells of football. I mean, this is perfect football weather. It's kind of thundery, rainy. The grass smells great. You know, people are getting dirty. It's just, I think it's these type of things that I'll remember the fondest about football here at Oceanside. Plus the real stimulating talks from the coach, Herb Meyer, as well as Carl Wickham.
You played high school football, late 60s, early 70s. You now see the kids of today playing. Has high school football changed from a strategy standpoint, from the size of the players? How do you see high school football 2 decades later?
Oh, it's unbelievable, Mark. The kids are so much more talented now. The physical fitness that they have inbred to them now, it's just making the game so much more demanding on not only the coaching aspect, but the players as well, because everything is so in tune now. I believe that you're going to find just unbelievable things happening in the sport with the versatility of all the young players now.
Now, you had mentioned that as a freshman you were 6'6", 235. I guess the expectations was Bill Sandifer was going to be a football player.
It was there all along, Mark. I'll tell you, basketball was out of the question. I cannot jump, as the movie intones. And so football just kind of came naturally to it. It took a while, but the coaches got the best out of me, and thank God I had them.
Now, when you were playing at Oceanside High School, did you ever imagine, number one, you were going to get a college scholarship to a school like UCLA, and number two, did you really see that you were going to be able to make it to the NFL?
I'll tell you, Mark, it really came as a surprise, especially I did believe I'd get a scholarship somewhere. I ended up going to Maricosta for 2 years because my grades weren't quite up to snuff. I'm glad they have the rules now stimulating the students to do better in school. Going on to UCLA was just a dream come true. Everything worked out just great up there, and then making the pros was just a topping.
Now, after your career at UCLA, talk about what it was like to be a Bruin.
Well, you know, at the time we were kind of on the downside, but we weren't coming back. But I think my senior year we were 9-2. At that time, it was the Pac-8, and you did not go to a bowl game unless you won the Pac-8. So the SC went again, and we were kind of the bridesmaid once again.
And back in those days, as they say, the granddaddy of them all.
Right. Right.
the Rose Bowl.
Eluded us again.
Yes. Then you move on to the pros, and you play for the San Francisco 49ers. And we spoke on the phone earlier during the week, and you admitted that you were on some teams that were not so good.
I came in a year after John Brody retired up in San Francisco, and we were on the downhill slide. Let me put it that way. There's a lot of rebuilding years, a lot of different changes in the coaching staff and whatnot. Moved on to Seattle after 3 years, and I got to believe I helped build a dynasty in San Francisco because they got rid of me at the right time. And they started to come back up the ladder right after that. So
it's all in the time.
Right.
now, since your playing career, what have you been up to?
I'm working construction now down in San Diego. I owned a bar for a while, which that was an experience, and just enjoying life. Married recently. My wife's up in the stands, Denise, and my son Matt, and just having a great time, just enjoying life.
Well, Bill Sandifer, we appreciate your taking time out of your busy schedule to join us here, El Camino against Oceanside, and best of luck to you in the future.
Great, can't wait.
We've been speaking to Bill Sandifer, Oceanside High School graduate and former NFL star. I'm Mark Heller, and second half action is coming up in a moment. And welcome back to Wildcat Stadium here at El Camino High School. We're at halftime, and Oceanside Pirates lead El Camino by the count of 7-6. Total offensive yards, the Oceanside Pirates 68 yards, El Camino 99. To give you the scoring, the Pirates got on the scoreboard first. It was a 61-yard touchdown pass from quarterback John Portugal to wide receiver George Sutton. He beat Renal Robinson on the coverage. The touchdown score good. The extra point up and good by George Hernandez, 7-0. It was Oceanside out on top. El Camino comes back late in second quarter action, and Trey Creighton goes to the air to his tight end Prescott Unatoa, who made the catch in the secondary, made a nice couple of moves. He goes in the end zone 34 yards for the touchdown score. However, the extra point of Josh Johnson was blocked by Billy Gully. 7-6 is how we go into halftime. Carl, even though the Pirates lead by 1, Oceanside had 75 yards of total offense off their first 2 offensive possessions. The rest of the way, their last 4 offensive possessions, they netted -7 yards.
Their first quarter is great, but as El Camino picked up their defense a little bit, it's been a good football game. But as we thought and said earlier, that both teams aren't showing the offense that they are capable of. With Oceanside a passing team and El Camino running team, they just haven't shown the offense tonight, but they've shown some real good defensive plays tonight, and it's just going to be a defensive battle.
And Oceanside Pirates will be kicking things off. Entering tonight, El Camino right now currently in third place, a 2-1 tie with Oceanside. Sam Pasquale and Torrey Pines are tied for League 3-0 apiece, and they're playing each other. And here we go with the second half of action. Kick is picked up by the up man. He falls down on it at the 32-yard line, and that's where El Camino will start first and 10. So it's interesting, the 2 teams in first place are facing one another. Then El Camino Oceanside, who are right behind them in the standings, face one another. Carlsbad against Escondido, who are just below them. And San Marcos Ramona, who are at the bottom of the division, play each other as well. So it seems to make a lot of sense as far as the schedule with where teams currently stand in the Avocado League. Reintroduce the offense for El Camino. Trey Creighton, the quarterback. Morrison and Flanagan in the backfield. Westbrook and Gordon, your receivers. They give to the up man, Morrison. No, check it. It's a fake by Creighton. He's got plenty of running room to the 45-yard line. Carl, a beauty of a fake. He certainly faked me out up here in the booth.
The kid was stopped at the line of scrimmage, and he was held by one-arm tackle, and he broke loose and picked up about 10, 12 more yards. But he was actually stopped at the line of scrimmage.
And the quarterback, Trey Creighton, picks up 13 yards. As you see on replay, he's got plenty of running room, and he knows what to do with that football. So Creighton works first and 10 from the 45. He's rolling right. He's got plenty of time to pass. Now he's under a rush. Incomplete as he looked for Seth Morrison. And they're going to throw a flag. Pass interference. And so that's going to be an automatic first down, Carl.
Fan Contreras, number 3, gave a good chase in, and he was rushing Creighton on that particular play and did a good job on defense.
And let's take
really
a look
putting
at
the
that play
pressure
on replay, and let's see exactly who it was for Oceanside that caused the pass interference. Now, we've just been told in the truck they don't have it. Well, they get it most of the time, don't you guys? They're going to walk off the 15 yards for the pass interference. Automatic first down for El Camino at the Oceanside Pirate. They're going to place the ball down at the 40-yard line. 7-6 the score if you just joined us. El Camino against Oceanside in the high school football game of the week. The voices you hear, yours truly, Mark Keller, along with the coach Carl Wickham. Neil Glass is our statistician doing a solid job up in the booth. 1st and 10 from the Oceanside 40. Receivers set to the right side as they work out of the I formation. Seth Morrison on the run. He gains a couple of yards before he's brought down by Billy Gully. That'll set up 2nd and 8. What do you look for from El Camino offensively opening up the second half, Carl?
I think they'll come out with their running game, you know, sprinkling some passes, but they won't do much of a change. They just have to do a little better execution, and let's hope that the 15 good athletes for El Camino can wear down the 5 good athletes that Oceanside has.
And checking into the game is number 21, Jeremy G, as a wide receiver, the younger brother of Mike G. Also set up to the right side, Renal Robinson. They give the ball to the Ep-man. He picks up about to the 32-yard line. And so they're starting to gain some yards on the ground. It's Mike Flanagan who picks up the yardage. We'll take a look at that one on replay. Mike Flanagan, the team's leading rusher, has 465 yards rushing entering tonight's game.
Mike has run right up the middle for a big gain.
It's going to bring up 3rd down, 2 yards to go from the Oceanside 32-yard line. Creighton barks signals. The give down to the 28, so that's good. More than enough yardage for the first down. Carrying the ball, I think that was Seth Morrison, number 23, coming up from the pile.
Mark, you notice that thrust by El Camino then? They're picking up momentum, and they're out. Their line now is out charging the defensive line of Oceanside, and they're starting to move that football.
And that carry was by Bryant Westbrook, number 20. So it's 1st and 10 with the ball at the Oceanside 28. They work out of the I. Westbrook is set split left. Creighton rolling right. He's got some time. Hits Morrison, the 20. 15 down sideline to the 10. Gets away 5. Touchdown El Camino. Oh, what a beautiful move from Seth Morrison. He goes in from 27 yards out, and El Camino takes the lead. 9:22 remaining in quarter number 3.
Good move by Morrison. He breaks 2 tackles about the 6-yard line, goes on in for the touchdown.
And the El Camino crowd loves it. And the Wildcats take the lead 12-7 with 9:22 remaining to play here in quarter number 3. Let's see if they'll go for the extra point or the 2-point conversion. They're leveling it up here in the press box here at El Camino High School. The homecoming game for the Wildcats, and they're going for the 2-point conversion. Quarterback Trey Creighton barks the signals. He's got the ball. He's looking to throw. And is the catch made? Yes, it is. 2-point conversion. As the reception is made by Herman Gordon, there is a penalty flag down on the field. So we'll have to see if it stands. If so, the Wildcats lead 14-7. Let's get a shot at the official as he makes the call. And it's going to be declined. Pass interference was called against Oceanside. Declined. The 2-point conversion good. Let's take a look here on replay, Carl.
Creighton's dropped back to pass, and he's covered. The kid does a good job in the end zone, hangs on to it for a touchdown.
Does a good job. He does a beauty of a job for the 2-point conversion, does Herman Gordon, who entered the night with 8 receptions on the season. The senior has good hands, and he certainly makes it hold there.
Mark, you know that El Camino, with Herb Meyer, he feels like he has the momentum on that drive, and he took it right down. They scored, and he went for the 2-point conversion and gets that extra points in that he needs in case the game goes down later on in the game.
And
where
with that
he'll need that.
And with the touchdown score, El Camino now leads 14-7. Josh Johnson will kick things off here with 9:22 remaining to play in the third quarter. And here we go. It's a short kick, taken on the run. Loose ball fumbled by Hamer, and he falls on it at the 20-yard line. And so far in this second half, we've seen Oceanside have trouble on kickoffs and punt returns, Carl.
They've fumbled the ball now for the second time. Hamer's, I don't know what his problem is. The kid has good hands. He's a running back. He just can't seem to hang on to the football in the kickoff situation.
And that drive for the El Camino Wildcats, 6 plays covering 44 yards. And the touchdown score was a 27-yarder to Seth Morrison. Portugal bark signals his team down by 7. They're down for the first time tonight under a heavy rush. What a great job by John Moore and James Natola. And El Camino is now fired up as they have the lead. And someone missed a blocking assignment for Oceanside.
Can you feel where, Mark, where Oceanside's kind of let down a little bit right now and the momentum is swinging in favor of El Camino?
I'm going to tell you what, I have a feeling that for the Oceanside Pirates, it was their center, Salofi Nua, who was supposed to pick up John Moore and never found him. So a loss of 7 on the sack, 2nd and 17, with the ball at the 13-yard line. Portugal needs to pick up some yards here. He's got time. He's looking deep down the sideline for Durley. Incomplete. Bryant Westbrook in on the coverage, and you see why he's everybody's prep All-American. It appears at this time that Westbrook is leaning towards being an Aztec playing with San Diego State next season.
Westbrook was with the receiver step by step in real good defensive position. If the ball would have been anywhere near the target.
So it's going to bring up 3rd down and 17 yards to go for the Oceanside Pirates. .8:13 remaining to play in the third quarter, 14-7. Cats lead the Pirates. Portugal, an inside counter to Chandler. He's got some running room, and then bottled up at the 20-yard line. Nice tackle by Chris Creighton, the free safety. That'll bring up 4th down.
Good blocking by the offensive line that time. They came back with that little counter and picked up some good yardage.
7-yard gain on that run, but way short of a first down. It's going to bring up 4th down, and that means into punt the punter, Forrest Ballou. Timmy Badillo standing back on his own 45-yard line. The punt is up end over end. Badillo calls fair catch at the 47-yard line. Joe Salavea sees that he called for a fair catch, and that's where El Camino will start 1st and 10.
See, Joe's he's improved this half. He didn't tackle the kid. He made a mistake, and he didn't make another one. Outstanding football player. That was a very good kick by Forrest Ballou that time. I keep wanting to call this kid Cat Ballou. It's a little easier to say.
To reintroduce the Oceanside defense, the line, Contreras, Thomas, Foster, Salavea, Gomez, Gully, Dennis, linebackers, Salavilla, sometimes linebackers, sometimes quarterback. On the keeper is Trey Creighton, gains a couple of yards. We'll call it 2nd and 7. The rest of their defense, Sutton, Durley, and Chandler are the defensive backs. Meanwhile, El Camino's offense, the line, Zavallo, McCullough, Brown, Chapman, and Moore. Unatoa, the tight end, he caught the touchdown earlier in the contest. Gordon and Westbrook, the receivers. Creighton, quarterback. Morrison and Flanagan in the backfield. They call a pickup of 2, 2nd and 8 from just around the midfield stripe. 2 men in the backfield, inside counter to Morrison. Oh, he's tied up at the line of scrimmage. Great play by Billy Gully and Joe Salavea. So that's no gain. That's going to bring up 3rd down and 8. Salavea and Gully are truly appear to me to be the 2 most talented players on defense for Oceanside.
A couple of good football players, Mark. They just big, strong kids.
You know, I've been thinking of some of the great players that have been at Oceanside and El Camino over the years. I'd have as my star defensive back a man by the name of Willie Buchanan. He was a pretty good one who started with the Green Bay Packers. We'll tell you about some of the other former greats who have played at local high schools here. throughout the broadcast. Man in motion is Bryant Westbrook. 3rd and 8. Creighton going to the air. Dishes off out of the backfield, incomplete as he was looking for Westbrook. And George Sutton, number 81, in on the coverage. That'll bring up 4th down.
He was open. He just missed the football, but the defense was in good position that time. They were right there to make the make the tackle.
That's going to bring up 4th down. Trey Creighton will be in to punt. Walking back to receive the punt will be Aaron Durley, number 84, as he backpedals to about the 20-yard line. Creighton standing on his own 37. It's a bad snap, and Creighton's in trouble. Loose ball. Pouncing on it is Anthony Sega, and he's thrown back at the 20. And that's why you practice those special teams, Carl Wickham, as it comes to haunt the El Camino Wildcats.
Number 44 did a good job, but, you know, there's a big break for Oceanside.
And we're going to see on replay here the attempted punt, which never got to Trey Creighton. It's all in the snap, and the problem is the snap comes up short to Creighton. He never had a chance. Then he bobbles it, kicks on it. Sega says, I better pick it up. And then he's thrown down by Danny Gomez, number 33. So the Pirates have the ball 1st and 10 from the El Camino 24-yard line. Gives the ball to Hamer. Hamer cuts inside the 20 down to the 18. So that's a good pickup on 1st down for Hamer of 6 yards. That'll bring up 2nd and 4.
That was a good effort and a good run by Hamer. It's about, what, 2nd and 5?
And there are the Wildcat cheerleaders who are currently celebrating taking the lead. But it might not last long as the Oceanside Pirates are on the march. Actually, both cheerleading squads are cheering together on the same sideline, showing that community spirit, which you have to have when the two high schools are so close to one another.
That's right, Mark. If Oceanside takes the football in, we could have a tie ball game again here in the 3rd quarter with 5:20 to go.
You know, we were talking about some of the greats that played at the high schools. We said Willie Buchanan, defensive back. I think I'd take a fellow by the name of Junior Seau to spearhead my linebacking core.
One of the all-time greats,
No
250, 6'3".
Yep, 2nd and 5. We'll tell you about more. We'll just keep throwing names out because there are so many. Portugal goes inside counter to Chandler. He's upended. Nice defensive play by James Notola, number 43, upending Chandler at the 20-yard line. So that's a loss of 2 yards.
That brings up a 3rd down now. El Camino's, they're bowing their neck down inside the 20. Well, that's actually on the 20-yard line. They're doing a good job on defense. Let's see if they can stop Oceanside now.
It's going to bring up 3rd down and 6 with the ball at the Wildcat 20-yard line as Portugal barks signals. Durley set to the left. He's been held in check tonight. Back to pass Portugal. Looks for Sutton, incomplete. Booker on the coverage and a penalty at the line of scrimmage. We may have holding against the Oceanside Pirates. Good coverage by Booker. Holding against the Pirates. He'll decline, and that'll bring up 4th down.
There's a tough break for Oceanside. That pass was right in his hands, and he wasn't broken up by the El Camino defense. He should have caught the ball and then been tackled. But that's a very tough break for Oceanside High.
Yep, as he picks up the laundry off the field. It's going to bring up 4th down. And you wonder, will the Pirates go for it, or will they bring in their field goal kicker to try and kick one? At the beginning of the year, they were using Hugo Canseco, and they found that he was inconsistent, but he does have a strong foot. So sometimes they'll use him on long field goals. George Hernandez does the point after tries, and Anthony Dennis does their kickoffs. 4:23 remains in quarter number 3. If you just joined us, it's the high school football game of the week. El Camino leads Oceanside by the count of 14-7. So they did take the penalty, and it's going to bring up 3rd and 16 at the 30-yard line. I'm surprised they accepted that penalty. Portugal back to pass with time. Looks deep over the middle, and we're going to have pass interference against Bryant Westbrook. He was all over Aaron Durley, and obviously he got a piece of him.
Mark, was that football caught by Durley? And I couldn't tell. Did you?
We're going to have pass interference. Let's take a look on replay here, Carl. Tough to tell. He was on him close, but I don't think that was interference, Carl.
That's a close play but it's a break for the Oceanside Pirates.
Because that's going to be a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down for the Oceanside Pirates. A game, you know, the football is a game of mistakes, and usually the team that makes the fewer mistakes comes out on top.
That's right, Mark, and they're down on about what, the 15-yard line.
And that's where the ball will be. 1st and 10 for Oceanside from the El Camino 15-yard line. As Portugal calls signals, set to the left, Durley, to the right, Sutton. Billy Gully now sets up as a receiver along with Roberson as they flood the left side. So what do? They give the ball to Hamer off right side, and he's in trouble. Oh, yeah. That's what you like to call the old-fashioned gang tackle.
Mark, there's a mix-up in the backfield, and Portugal ran right into his back, and, of course, he never did complete the handoff. I think he was trying to keep the football and come back around the strong side here and throw a pass, but he fumbled the football.
Well, people such as Prescott Unatoa, James Natola, everybody was really in on that tackle. It's going to bring up 2nd down 17 as they lose almost 7 on the play from the 22-yard line. Portugal rolling to his left. He's in trouble, and he's going down. John Moore, number 71, makes the tackle. James Natola caused confusion, and Junior Lay was there too. That's a team effort.
You know, Mark, John Moore is having a pretty good night on defense.
He most certainly is the 6'1", 200-pound senior right defensive end. He's doing a solid job.
His name keeps coming up on the tackles.
And the Oceanside Pirates are marching backwards. They're now at the 27-yard line. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 23 yards to go. They need to get down to the 4-yard line to pick up a first down. I would say it's safe to say that Portugal's going airborne to Sutton or Durley.
That's right, Mark.
I can't believe Aaron Durley has been held in check. Bryant Westbrook has simply shut him out. And that tells you why Bryant Westbrook is a big-time receiver. And we now have delay of game against the Oceanside Pirates, and John Carroll's squad is marching the wrong way.
Mark, you've got to go to the side where Robinson's playing because he's definitely not as a good defensive back as you'd find with Westbrook. And go to Sutton on that right-hand side over there.
I'd like to remind you some of the other ball games we'll be bringing you this season here on Channel 37. 2 weeks from tonight, it's going to be the same El Camino Wildcats hosting the San Pasqual Golden Eagles, a game that could be for 1st or 2nd place in league. The week after that, Torrey Pine Falcons against the Oceanside Pirates. Portugal to pass. Ames fires over the middle, picked off by Mike Booker in the end zone. 1st and 10 El Camino. We have a penalty flag on the field. I have a feeling this will hold up because I think it will be against the Oceanside Pirates. Ooh, and so we have 2 penalties against the Oceanside Pirates. We have holding against Oceanside, and then we have unsportsmanlike conduct against the Pirates. And so I think what they're going to do, since that penalty took place after the play came to an end, I think they're going to tack on 15 yards off that interception by Mike Booker.
Mark, there's a good example where good football players make big plays, and Booker made a big play there in catching that ball in the end zone.
So Booker makes the interception.
Of course, right now, Oceanside's killing themselves with mistakes, and it's really hurting them. They've been in the scoring position. They've taken themselves out of scoring position, and they end up coughing up the football on a pass and an interception by Booker down in the end zone.
And so they're going to march off 15 yards on the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. So instead of starting 1st and 10 from the 20, El Camino starts 1st and 10 from their own 35. Pretty good field position.
Good field position.
And it was Mike Booker, the other bookend cornerback, who stars for these El Camino Wildcats. Mike Booker, number 27. He's pretty much a prep All-American, not far behind Bryant Westbrook. And Mike as well looks to be a future Division I prospect. 2:39 remains to play here in quarter number 3. If you just joined us, it's the high school football game of the week. El Camino leads Oceanside by the count of 14-7. And Trey Creighton and company will start out of the offensive attack. Receivers wide to either side as they work out of the I formation. Chapman kind of jumped. And then in return, Joe Salavea. I'll tell you what, Joe Salavea, if he sees you as much as sniff your nose, he's going to jump all over your face. And Mike Chapman, illegal procedure against him. That'll cost the Cats 5 yards.
You know, Joe was Salavea. I think that offensive lineman twitched, and he was on the move right then. He just came through there like a steamroller.
He is a monster. I'll tell you what, that kid is intimidating. He makes you think twice before you do anything. 1st and 15 from the 30. They give the ball off left side to Flanagan. He's stuffed. Nothing doing. Good defensive pursuit. Anthony Dennis helping out on the tackle. Billy Gully, the primary man, number 45. I'll tell you what, Billy Gully, his first year on the varsity, and he has truly sparkled for John Carroll.
He's doing a good job out there. You know, Mark, Oceanside still playing real good defense. They just can't get their offense going.
Gully's a 6'1", 190 junior, so he'll be back next year for John Carroll's squad. They've got a number of juniors who have contributed well. Creighton gives the ball off left side to Flanagan. He sees an open running room, and then as quick as that, it gets corralled. Roderick Thomas, number 62, in on the tackle. And we've got an injured player down on the field. It's Mike Flanagan, the tailback, number 25. And Flanagan still down there on the ground. Let's see if we could get a close-up of the injured Wildcat. I'll tell you, I asked for it. They give it to me in the truck. Nice job. 1:57 remaining in quarter number 3, and Carl, true to form to last year's regular season game at Oceanside High School, in that the Pirates led at halftime, but by the time the third quarter came to a conclusion, El Camino had the lead.
Last year in the first game they played, you're talking about, Mark, or the second game in
the first
playoffs?
game. Remember, it was 14-7. Oceanside led at the half, and El Camino exploded with 3 third-quarter touchdowns to take a 28-14 lead. Tonight, Oceanside up 7-6 at the half, and El Camino scores a touchdown and 2-point conversion, and they're up 14-7.
We're nearing the end of the third quarter with 1:57 to go, and it's still anyone's ball game because the score is 14-7, Mark, and neither one of them has moved the football much on offense.
Yep, and I'll tell you what, you know, El Camino, who over the years, they have been known for their rushing offense, but entering tonight, in half their games, they had more passing yardage than rushing yardage, and that's certainly true tonight because they've thrown for 2 touchdown scores to Prescott Unatoa and to Seth Morrison, and then the 2-point conversion to Herman Gordon. 3rd and 15, Creighton on the keeper. Now dishes off right side to Booker. He's got some running room. The 45, midfield, and finally brought down at the Oceanside 44-yard line. Making the tackles, Sal Avila and Danny Gomez.
Mark, I thought that with Westberg hurt sitting on the sideline right now, I thought things had slowed down a little bit for El Camino's offense, but Booker comes in and the flow goes on.
Let's see on replay. Creighton with the ball. He's in trouble. I'll give it to Mike Booker, my senior, and look at Booker. He knows what to do with the football. Knocks over a couple of guys, and it takes 3 Oceanside Pirates to bring down Mike Booker. What a good-looking ball player he is. 6'2", 190 senior. He and Westbrook both play basketball, so when football season ends, which the last couple of years has been CIF championship, they then join Ray Johnson towards late December and play on a basketball team. The Wildcats, with their basketball team, everybody just about coming back, and they're favored preseason in the Avocado League this year.
You know, Mark, watching Westbrook and Booker run, there's nothing like speed, isn't there? There's no substitute for just being fast.
And the El Camino cheerleaders happy as their squad has a 14-7 lead. 1:42 remaining in quarter number 3. If you just joined us, El Camino leads Oceanside 14-7. 1st and 10 for the Cats from their 45-yard line of Oceanside. Morrison off right side. Salavea has him. Finishing him off is Roderick Thomas and company. And do you see Joe Salavea? He gets the pursuit but doesn't bring the runner down, and then he pounces down in frustration saying, I should have had him, I should have had him.
But Mark, he strings the play out on this when they came back on that little counter to the right side of the field.
We'd like to remind you at the end of tonight's game, we will name our KOCT player of the game. We will be handing out a plaque to the player of the game, and it was very nicely put together by Alice Solomon, who is the owner of North County Trophy, Mission Avenue, Oceanside. Creighton back to pass, has time, looks for his receiver. Beautiful catch made by Herman Gordon at the 31, and we have a penalty flag down on the far side of the field. Herman Gordon makes a beautiful reception. We'll have to see if it stands. Back to pass is Creighton. Look at that catch by Gordon. But Aaron Durley was on him like a blanket.
He was all over him, Mark, and he still made the play. The kid's a good receiver.
But you know what? They're going to wipe it out because watch the official call. Zero in on that official, guys.
Like you mentioned earlier, Mark, it's a game of mistakes, and the one that makes the least has a better opportunity for victory.
Yep, and that one's going to cost them 15 big yards.
That is a big, big mistake.
And let the official make the call. It was an illegal chop block against the El Camino Wildcats, so someone on the offensive line guilty of the infraction. Those guys in the pits don't like to hear their names called, Carl, because it means they made a mistake.
It's second, what, 35 yards? 25 yards.
Second down, 25 yards to go for El Camino from their own 40. Creighton end around to Bryant Westbrook. Nobody's fooled there. Loss of 5 yards. Finishing off, guess what? Number 56, Joe Salavea. Hey, there's a surprise.
There's that big Joe Salavea again, disrupting things in the backfield.
And also actually starting to slow down Bryant Westbrook was Jason Maggio, number 68. He's on the offensive line, and he sees some action on the defensive line, helped out. We're coming to the waning moments of quarter number 3. 14-7 your score. El Camino has the lead as the third quarter has come to an end. You're watching the high school football game of the week.
At the end of the third quarter, Wildcats 14, Pirates 7.
Well, there was one touchdown scored in the third quarter of play, and for El Camino, it was off the opening kickoff that El Camino started 1st and 10 from their 33. They went 6 plays, 67 yards. The touchdown pass was 27 yards to Seth Morrison from quarterback Trey Creighton. Then the 2-point conversion, Creighton goes to Herman Gordon, and 14-7 gave El Camino the lead. And that's where we stand. That was the only touchdown scored in quarter number 3. And Carl, El Camino's defensive intensity continues. Their offense, they were very impressive on their first run in the second half of play.
Mark, El Camino is doing a good job on offense right now. And they've taken command of the football game at the present time.
Well, the Wildcats are faced with 3rd down and 30 yards to go. Seth Morrison with the ball. Frankie Contreras nails him at the 31-yard line. And I'll tell you what, the Oceanside Pirates certainly slowed down El Camino there.
Their defense is doing a good job, other than a few big plays that El Camino's put together tonight. But that score is 14-7. It's still anyone's ball game. We have a little over 11 minutes to go.
It's going to bring up 4th down on that last play. Sophomore was on the offensive line, Tony Matatia, so he saw some action tonight as well. Let's get a shot of the punter, guys. There we go. Trey Creighton. Short punt. Durley takes it at the 45. His knee hit the ground. In high school football, when your knee hits the ground, the ball is automatically dead. So 1st and 10 for the Oceanside Pirates from their own 45-yard line. 11-14 remaining in this contest, Carl. We still have plenty of time left in the contest. What do the Pirates need to do to get going offensively?
They have to establish the running game a little bit more and see if they can't give Portugal a little more time to pass the football. He just hasn't had the time to throw the football.
El Camino defense has been all over the place. They've been in Portugal's face in the second half. Portugal dishes off left side to Hamer. Picks up about 3 yards to the 48-yard line. He's brought down by Chris Creighton and Renal Robinson. That'll bring up 2nd and 7.
There's what John has to do. He has to, when he options, he has to pitch that ball back because they're going after John, and the pitch man's been open a lot of times to pick up 4 or 5 yards per carry.
For the Oceanside Pirates this year, it's been loss, win, loss, win, loss, win. I guess they're due for a loss according to their pattern of this year.
They're consistent, Mark.
2nd and 7 for Portugal. Gives the ball off left side. Plenty of running room down to the Wildcat 37-yard line. They gave the ball to Chris Hamer. He picked up big-time yardage, and that's good for an Oceanside first down. We'll see if we can take a look at that one on replay. 10 and a half minutes remaining in the contest.
We're
at Oceanside in El Camino territory.
We're catching a spark here by Oceanside offense.
There's Chris Hamer. He's got plenty of running room.
There's a good play by Hamer for a big gain. Another first down, they'll be in 4-down territory.
Some of the other great players, Bill Sandifer, who we interviewed at halftime, a good person to have on your defensive line. We'll tell you about some more later. Portugal can't find anybody. He's going to have to run. He tries to get to the outside. He's hit and brought down at the 40. Bringing him down, Anthony Sega, number 44. He's a 5'9", 170-pound senior. One thing about Herb Meyer's team, Carl, he always seems to have a lot of good defensive players who are not big, but they certainly can tackle.
Coach Meyer is definitely a defensive coach. He puts his strongest suit on defense.
I'll tell you what, Junior Lay defensively was pursuing Portugal. He must have chased him for what seemed like 15 yards. He didn't do the tackle, but you certainly have to give him an assist in the pursuit. 2nd down and 11 with the ball at the 39. Out of the crouch, Portugal gives to Hamer. He's to about the 35 before he's brought down. Tackle made by Junior Lay, the nose guard, number 62. He's a 6'1", 185-pound junior. Lay takes over for Sean Garlock, who last year was their nose guard, now off in the Marines. Garlock did a pretty solid job. As a matter of fact, Garlock, last year's nose guard, wore number 62 as well.
Oceanside, I think John's trying to carry the load out there. I think he should hand that ball a little bit more off to Hamer, who's picking up some good yardage at the present
3rd down
time.
and 7 with the ball at the 35. Out of the crouches, Portugal. Back to pass. He's got time. Going down the right sideline for Sutton. Intercepted by Booker. We have a penalty flag, and I wonder if they're going to call pass interference. It actually could be offensive pass interference against Sutton for interfering with Mike Booker.
Sutton was out of position that time. Booker had the position on him.
Let's take a look on replay here. Booker intercepted the ball. I didn't think Sutton interfered with him, but it was a nice, solid interception by Mike Booker, his 2nd of the night.
Mark, I think it's on Oceanside.
Right, they call it against George Sutton. From the replay, we couldn't see the whole play, but as I looked at the play develop, I really didn't think it was offensive pass interference, but it was a good, solid interception by Mike Booker.
Sutton took himself out of position on that, and Booker got in a good defensive position there and just caught the football, and Sutton pushed him from behind.
So Booker with the INT. El Camino starts deep in their own territory, 1st and 10 from the 10-yard line. And we'll see what the Wildcats do out of this set. 9:35 remaining in the contest. Creighton with the one-man backfield. It's Flanagan on the carry. Picks up a couple of yards before he's brought down. It'll bring up 2nd and 8. You know, Mike Flanagan, usually every game we see him break a run for big yardage, but we haven't seen that tonight from the senior.
You know, Mark, he was out of the game a while ago, and it looked like he had a little leg injury, but he's back in there playing again. This kid's a tough kid.
He certainly is. So offensively in the game, all 3 touchdowns have come via the pass. Defensively, Mike Booker with a pair of interceptions for the Cats. 2nd and 8 from the 12. On the carry up the middle for about 2 or 3 yards, Danny Gomez and company makes the tackle. That was Seth Morrison, number 23 on the carry for the Wildcats. Right now, Herb Meyer has the lead. He wants to chew as much time as possible off that clock.
Mark, he's hoping he can sustain this drive and run that clock down. And It's 3rd and 7 long. Let's see what he does here. Do you think he'll throw a pass on this particular play?
Possibly could be. I'm surprised to see Bryant Westbrook check out of the game. Ronald Robinson is a receiver to the right side along with Herman Gordon. Unatoa set to the right side. They work out of the eye. And the give is to Flanagan. He's got some running room. Ooh, he lost his balance at the 25. If Flanagan does not lose his balance, he might go all the way.
It's a good effort. He got tripped up and he kept his feet. He just couldn't quite catch his feet underneath him, and he stumbled down. But if, as Mark says, if he hadn't, he'd have been on his way to a touchdown.
Well, thanks for agreeing with me there, Carl. I certainly appreciate it. As you look on the replay, the give to Flanagan, he's got the running room, and look, open room. If he doesn't fall, he could possibly go all the way. So it's going to bring up 1st and 10 with the ball at the 24-yard line. A mix-up at the line of scrimmage. Whoa, what a hard hit. About a yard, and then the shot of the night. And that shot for the Oceanside Pirates was made by number 40, Dan Shartman. I'll tell you what, that kid was like a loose cannon, and he just knocked Flanagan over. It's amazing that Flanagan got back up.
That's the best hit I've seen tonight.
Oh, that's definitely the hit of the night. Sure, let's see it. As I talk to my director, Matt Beck. 2nd and 9 with the ball at the 24. Creighton, back to pass. Throws as he's hit on the run and incomplete, intended for Herman Gordon. It's going to bring up 3rd down as the clock stops with 5:05 remaining in the contest. 14-7, El Camino leads Oceanside by a touchdown here in Avocado League action. El Camino looking to up their record to 6-1. If they win this game, they'll be 4-1 in league. The Oceanside Pirates, who entered 3-3 on the night, 2-1 in league. If they lose this game, they'll go under 500. And if so, it would prove suit to the way the Pirates were a year ago. They were 3-4, then won 4 in a row, including first round of the playoffs. They set up the screen to Flanagan, nothing doing. Good pursuit right there by the Oceanside Pirates. They did a good job of snuffing up the attempted screen to Flanagan.
That's a good effort. They put El Camino in a punting situation.
Billy Gully made the tackle. Billy Gully was actually on the bottom. So he brought him down and took himself down in the process. 4th down, Trey Creighton in punt formation. We'll see if our statistician can tell us how many times Creighton has punted tonight. He certainly has been busy. He's standing on his own 10-yard line. We've got a whistle, and I don't know if we have someone off sides or if El Camino took too much time. The shot from the El Camino sideline, the shot at the officials. Illegal procedure will go against the Wildcats. That'll cost them 5 yards. We certainly have had our share of penalties tonight, Carl.
We sure have. You know, it's like we've mentioned before, it's a game of mistakes, and there's a situation now where it's what, 4th and about
16 yards
16
to go
yards.
Now. Creighton stands on his own 5-yard line. High snap, but he's able to get it away. Durley fumbles it at the 45 and falls down. I'll tell you what, Aaron Durley has really had problems trying to receive punts tonight.
What do we call that, Mark? Fumbleitis?
I don't know. I'm wondering, I look at the lights. As I look at the lights, they look kind of bright, and I wonder if every time Durley looks up, he finds those lights in his eyes. Because look at Durley. The ball right in his hands fumbles, and he's lucky enough to fall on it and recover for Oceanside.
Also, Mark, I think there's quite a bit of pressure on these kids tonight. The big rivalry, the homecoming, and there's a lot of pressure on these kids.
And they're trying to give it a homecoming victory for the Cats. That's the 5th punt of the night for Trey Creighton. Portugal back to pass. He's got time. He's going to air it out deep. And it's over the head of Mike Booker, the intended receiver. Was Roberson, number 83, and Mike Booker almost had his 3rd pick of the night.
You know, Mark, they've been throwing that deep pass. I think maybe they should start going down and throwing some slants over the middle. He had plenty of time to throw the football. They seem to be going for the bomb, and I think they should pick up 10, 15, 20 yards.
I agree with you.
Down and score.
I'll tell you what, because the strength of this team are their defensive backs. You would think they tried slants and set up one-on-one situations with their linebackers, but they really haven't done that tonight.
You're not going to beat Booker deep.
Yep,
very often.
Second and 10 from the Cat 46. They give the ball off right side to Hamer, down to the 42, and he's popped by Chris Creighton after a 4-yard pickup. So we've seen some hard hits from both sides in this game.
You know, Mark, the Creighton boys, I can remember when we had their father at Oceanside High in the 60s.
I bet you do.
We call him Junebug. What a football player and what a basketball player this kid was. We also had their uncle, Larry Creighton.
A lot of relatives who have played at both programs, and now you see their sons and nephews playing over the years. Portugal back to pass. Has some time, incomplete. He was looking for Sutton, who tripped down. Booker in on the coverage. You know, you talk about some people who are still involved with programs. The 1975 Oceanside team that won the CIF championship, coached by Herb Meyer. One of the members of that team was Eddie Badillo, and his younger cousin Timmy Badillo is playing for El Camino tonight. Reggie G, who is a member of that squad, is the uncle of, I'm not sure if it's Jeremy or Armidas G. Then Kimo Marquardt, who is a member of that team, is the vice principal here at El Camino High School. So a lot of players who have kept their ties in the local area. Brings up 4th and 6. Ballou in punt formation, standing on his own 44-yard line. Gets the punt away, end over end. This one will not be returned. Takes a nice bounce, picked up at the 10, to the 15, and Badillo to the 17. Did a good job in picking it up as he got 7 yards on the return.
You know, Mark, you failed to mention one good football player on that 75 CIF championship team. He's also now the vice principal at Oceanside High, Dan Darris. There was a guard, an outstanding football player, and he had his brother Jim Darris, who played right beside him on that football team.
And which one of the Pow Pows was on that team?
We had
Anthony or Mickey?
Mickey was on that team, but Tony graduated the year before in 1974.
And Anthony Pow Pow now, of course, is in charge of the running backs here at the El Camino program. 1st and 10 for the Cats. They give the ball off right side to Westbrook, nothing doing.
Mark, you call Anthony, we call him Tony in the old days. I guess he's changed his name. His real name's Anthony.
Well, I guess as the years go on, first of all, he's older than me, so I'm going to call him by his full name. You might call him short or give him nicknames or whatever when you coached him. You know, I feel I give him the utmost respect.
Mark, I forget myself. We had a Pow Pow in school for 12 years straight. Brothers.
You know, Carl, we have to start looking as we're getting towards the end of this game, as we approach 3:20, who could be our most valuable player here in our high school football game of the week. Some of the names that stand out: Trey Creighton, who's thrown for 2 touchdowns. They give the ball off right side to Flanagan. He picks up a couple of yards before he's brought down. You have to think Prescott Unatoa caught a touchdown, Seth Morrison a touchdown, Mike Booker a couple of picks. Who do you like?
I like Booker and Flanagan right now, with Salavia coming up in the 3rd position. You know, it's tough to give a lineman he doesn't get much glory in the middle of that line, but he's been in the thick of things all night, and he's done an outstanding job.
You talking about Joe Salavia?
Joe Salavia, yes. He's gone both ways. He snaps on 4th down punt, and he does everything but bring water out during timeouts.
Who else do you put into the picture as possible most valuable player tonight?
Well, those 3, and you know, Portugal's doing a pretty good job out there. You know, this is no runaway. This game could still go either way. We have 3 minutes left in the ball game, and it's 14-7, and I just think that I'm still waiting to see who's going to win the football game.
That's certainly true. Plenty of time to go. 3:07 remaining. El Camino faced with a 3rd and 10 with the ball at the 17-yard line. And Herb Meyer goes out to talk to his squad. What do you think Herb the Hat was telling this team?
Herb the Hat, Hill Street Herbie, I think he's getting after those guys. Let's crank up this offense. Let's get this thing going. This game isn't over. If we don't get a touchdown here, they can still come back.
3rd and 10. Creighton, he's going to pass over the middle, and it's completed to Prescott Unatoa. He makes the catch at around the 25, but that's still going to be short of the 1st down. But they did pick up some yardage, giving Creighton a little more room to punt.
You know, Coach Meyer's thrown that ball quite a bit this year. He's generally a running coach, but he's impressed me with his passing with Creighton this year. I'm impressed.
I'm going to tell you what, most of the yards they've gained offensively tonight have been via the pass. This might be the least amount of rushing yards we've seen from an El Camino team in a long time.
And you wouldn't expect that from El Camino.
Not at all.
Oceanside, you would expect that. With John Portugal, that's their main offense. They over 1,000 yards in offense, and what does he have, about 700 yards this year or 800 yards passing?
He was at 840 yards tonight, entering tonight. We're going to have offsides against the El Camino Wildcats. So they've been plagued by the penalty bug here in the second half. You have to remember, anything can happen. A couple of punt attempts ago, Creighton never even got it off because of a poor snap.
Couldn't Oceanside use a good block punt here at this time, put him in good field position?
Wayne Alameda is the up man to punt Creighton. Durley back, standing at the El Camino 47. The punt's up end over end. This should be returnable, and Durley lets it roll. That's a mistake. Look, the ball rolls about 10 yards down to the Oceanside 40. Why does he keep doing that?
Mark, there's an example. If he fair catches it, he gains 16 yards. And football's a game of inches, and I don't understand that. Never let the ball hit the ground.
And the clock stops with 2:09 remaining, and John Carroll's squad needs to go about 60 yards. They need to get a touchdown, and if they did get a touchdown, it would then be interesting to see, do you go for an extra point to tie or a 2-point conversion to win? We don't know if we'll get to that point, but it's something to keep in mind.
Mark, in a game like this, you got to go for the win.
Portugal at the line of scrimmage. Bark signals receivers wide to either side. Back to pass as time. Completes ahead to Roberson at the 46-yard line. That's a pickup of 6, bringing up 2nd and 4.
Mark, wouldn't a tie kind of be like kissing your mother-in-law? There's not much fun in it.
I don't know if it's, is that kissing your mother-in-law or kissing your sister?
Well, I think it's the same thing.
Something like that.
There's not much fun in it, no thrill.
Pickup of about 6. We'll call it 2nd and 4. Portugal to pass, looks over the middle. Is that ball complete? Yes, it is. First reception of the night made by Aaron Durley down at El Camino's 42-yard line. So this game, anything but over.
He's dropping straight back, and he has time to throw, and you give John Portugal time to throw, and the kid's, he can hit his receiver. He definitely has a real good arm.
You see on the replay, he makes the reception and, more importantly, gets out of bounds, stopping the clock. Portugal barks signals. He's back to pass, 1:25 and ticking to go. Does he hold on? I'm not sure. Did he catch that ball, Carl?
That's a completed pass.
Okay. Not much yardage, and the clock continues to tick as we're at 1:05. You see on replay, catch made by Durley, hard hit. I'll tell you, it looked like he dropped the football. But they give him credit for a reception at the 35-yard line.
On that last pass, he had a 3-step drop, and he just the receiver was wide open, and John just hit him right on the target.
We have an official timeout with 1 minute exactly remaining in this contest. Mark Heller, Carl Wickham, and Neil Glass. It's high school football game of the week. El Camino leads Oceanside 14-7. 1 minute remaining in the contest. Still within 1 touchdown. It's still anybody's ball game. On the line is the bragging rights for the City of Oceanside. Who will be the champion this year in the City of Oceanside? Oceanside or El Camino? Portugal to pass over the middle. Oh, dropped by George Sutton. Booker on the coverage, but he was beat. Sutton should have had that ball.
Mark, there's an example we talked about a while ago. Instead of running those sideline down patterns, up patterns, back over the middle, looking inside, and he had a touchdown if he just hung on to the football.
So the ball placed back at the 35. Watch the replay. Over the middle. Booker just got a hand on it, but it still looked catchable to me. The number 81, George Sutton, 3rd and 4 with the ball at the 35-yard line. Back to pass Portugal. He completes to Durley. It's good for a first down, but he did not get out of bounds.
Was he open, Mark?
Oh, he was open, all right.
Wide open.
I don't know what the Cats are thinking there. The clock's at 42 seconds. It stops as they move the chains. And the ball is down at about the 25-yard line. They call it closer to the 26. Portugal bunched up. Man set split right. And we now have an official timeout, stopping the clock with 38 seconds remaining. I'll tell you what, you can't ask for anything better in our opening broadcast here on Channel 37.
It's a good football game. Mark, there's a good example of Portugal just stepping back, dropping back, 3-step, 7-step pattern. Hitting the short passes, starting to throw over the middle instead of going for that long bomb that he hasn't had too much success with.
And I'm surprised he didn't start doing that a little earlier tonight. Portugal back to pass. He's got time. Aims, fires, incomplete as he was looking for Aaron Durley. That'll bring up 2nd down and 10 with 30 seconds remaining as the clock stops off the incompleted pass. tell you what, John Portugal, he'll throw that ball until his arm comes off.
That's about a 16-yard sideline pass, but if he'd cut that off at about 12 yards, that'd have been a completed pass, and it put him in a first down situation. We're running out of time.
Still 30 seconds remain. Still plenty of time to get something done. 14-7. El Camino leads, but Oceanside on the march. Portugal, the pass. He's got all kinds of time. Fires incomplete as he was looking for Durley. I'll tell you what, John Portugal seems to complete more passes when he doesn't have much time to think, just kind of throw and react.
He's definitely a pressure football player, and he can throw that football.
He's been called the quarterback with a linebacker's mentality. We've seen him on the run take on linebackers and crash helmets with them.
Mark, he's a tough kid.
He's a tough cookie, all right.
When you're standing talking to him, he stands at attention, and the muscles are just tense.
And his dad, Carlos, has been a strong supporter of his football endeavors. Also a good baseball pitcher. Portugal looks, and the ball is intercepted. He was looking for Durley on a short pass, and it's intercepted by James Natola, number 43. And as they say, turn out the lights, baby, because the party's over.
Mark, who said that?
I remember Don Meredith singing it. Look at that. Natola simply goes right in front of Durley, gets the pick, and for the El Camino Wildcats, it's their third pick of the night. 19 seconds remain, and it appears the El Camino Wildcats will hold for a 14-7 victory.
Mark, do you think the fat lady's about ready to sing her song?
Oh, yeah. I mean, not only is she humming, I mean, she's screaming and singing at full burst.
Well, it's been a good football game
Timeout
tonight.
call by the Oceanside Pirates immediately following this game. We'll go down to the sidelines for our post-game interviews as we'll talk to our player of the game. Now, as we look back with 10 seconds left, we basically have to make a decision on our player of the night. Who do you like?
Well,
I'm kind of leaning towards quarterback Trey Creighton, who threw for 2 touchdown passes and did a pretty steady job when El Camino needed the yardage.
El Camino wins the football game. He's done a good job on the pass, and I think I'd have to go along with Trey also, Mark.
Okay, so we'll try and get a hold of quarterback Trey Creighton, who wears number 6 for the El Camino Wildcats, immediately following the end of the game. But give credit to the defense. Mike Booker with a pair of picks. Natola makes one in the waning moments of this ball game. All El Camino needs to do is fall down, and this game is in the record books and history. El Camino looks to be holding on for the win. And for El Camino, they'll up their record to 6-1 on the year. The Pirates fall to 3-4 as the seconds tick 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And this game is in the record books. El Camino wins by the count of 14-7. Coming up next, our post-game show here on the High School Football Game of the Week. Welcome to the post-game show. As the final score tonight, El Camino by the count of 14-7 over Oceanside. The Wildcats won because they scored 2 touchdowns via the air. And we're talking to our player of the game, quarterback Trey Creighton. Trey, a couple of nice passes for touchdowns to your tight end Prescott Unatoa and to Seth Morrison.
Yeah, I guess they wanted to do because they were keen on Westbrook on the fake, so we just thought we should do the play action pass, and it worked through for us, and we scored luckily. And a great run by Prescott and Seth Morrison.
Yes, it appeared on both the touchdown scores. You put it up, got it to them, nice medium range passes, and then they broke open some nice tackles and went in for scores.
Yeah, the offensive line, I give them all the credit because they gave me time. And then when I got the ball to them, then tight end and running back, they did their job, and they got in the end zone. That's how we won.
Trey, tell me about the change you had to make. You're the JV quarterback last year, quarterback on the varsity for your first year. A little jittery at the beginning, but you seem to gain confidence with every game.
Yeah, like the first game, Point Loma, I was real nervous, and my dad and the team brought me through. And then I had a great performance against Carlsbad, and I was a little shaky in the beginning, but they talked me through it. And then they gave me confidence, and I can get the job done. And yes, I did if I threw 2 touchdown passes.
Carl, you have a couple of questions for our most valuable player.
Again, Trey, congratulations on your outstanding game tonight. You know, your father played for Herb and I many years ago, and he was a fine gentleman like you, and it's a great honor to give this award to you tonight. And I think the way you threw the football tonight, I think Herb Myers is going to give you a lot more passes in the future. How do you like that?
I hope so, because I want to try to break the record at El Camino or something like that.
Well, Trey, we'd like to take this opportunity on behalf of North County Trophy and the owner, Alice Solomon. They're located on Mission Avenue, right by Bank of America. And we'd like to present you with this plaque, if you show it up to the camera, as our KOCT High School Football Player of the Game. Trey, congratulations, as some of your teammates come up to congratulate you. The 2 senior studs and Trey Creighton. So once again, the final score tonight from El Camino's Wildcat Stadium is El Camino 14 and Oceanside 7. They did it a couple of touchdown scores from quarterback Trey Creighton. For the coach Carl Wickham and Trey Creighton, I'm Mark Heller saying so long and good night from Wildcat Stadium. So long, everybody.